Hello, hello, hello. Oh my god, my eyes are so red. Was like showering hot water. I was showering hot water. But can you smell? I smell so good. Cocoa butter, olive oil, like. And Sambaza is here. Let me bring him up so I don't talk. Sambaza. Oh, there we go.
Hey,
Hello.
how you doing?
Are you in your bed?
No, I am somewhere.
Where are you? Secret Service and shit?
Nah, it's just a long day.
You
Generally,
had a swim meet.
say what?
You had a
Yeah. It
swim
was a
meet. How
swim
was
meet, and
that?
then yeah, yeah, it was good. It was good. Everything worked out great.
How old is your son?
Uh, I think 14, something like that.
Showing you.
Anyway, he's cool.
A typical African father. Don't worry, even my dad. Maybe right now you might know, but for the longest time in my teens, I could literally say I was 16 when I was 14, and my dad would be like, "Yeah, she's 16," and I'm just.
Yeah, they swim well today. It was a good day. It was a good day. Great day for them. We really enjoyed our time.
So you,
So how was
bef-
your day?
my day was very relaxing. Atlanta weather is, it's rainy season. So
Oh, okay.
I woke up. I had plans with friends who also ended up sleeping through. So, when you were hoping plans get canceled and they actually do get canceled, but you're not the one who canceled them, that was
Right.
my day. So I've been just taking naps. I literally just came out of the shower. That's why my eyes are red. I don't know if this is just me, but anytime I shower hot water and if I stay in hot water for long, my eyes turn red.
Mm-mm. I think that's you. That's you. Because I,
But then people don't shower the hot water I shower. Like I have to enter, like I will literally put on the hot shower before I even get into it so that the room can already get steamy. And I like that steam, like that
oh,
hot. And it doesn't matter if it's summer or winter, whatever, I am showering hot fucking water.
that's the American way. You got to shower with hot water
No, but
all
even
the
when I used to go home in Tanzania,
time.
but in Africa, it's around 2, 3, 4 p.m. in the evening when the sun is really out. The water is not cold; it's literally warm water. But I will still not choose that. I will go on the hot side and put hot water. So I don't know. Maybe that's why my eyes get red, but.
Okay.
We're gonna, before we get into our topic, you have some news to celebrate. I have some news to celebrate. So I wanted to start with you. Share your good
Oh,
news.
so um, this past week I got nominated for the third time for the Diaspora Podcast of the Year. Oh, I see. Uh-huh.
I can
So I
prepare
got.
that. I was waiting for this to celebrate. Go on.
Oh, okay. So Diaspora Podcaster of the Year, I got this for the third time running, and
Wait, so are you and Mo Sibo on the same? Are you on the same? Oh, damn. Okay.
right, Coffee Pastures from Zambia. Uh, uh, so we're all on the same category, and uh, most people has two nominations. So she's running for two, so which is pretty good. Um, I'm happy to be part of the group, and just learn how to learn how to put your stuff out there and enjoy the
And you
moment.
You've been nominated 3 times, but this year we are taking it home. So let the people know they can vote for you, because we need these votes. We need for Sambaza to win this. Kenya needs a win, y'all.
Thank you. It's APVA voting. Apple, Papa, Victor, Alpha is what you're going to go to, and then do the APVA voting, and then you go in. It's going to give you an option to vote, and then you select podcasting. When you go to the podcasting option, it'll give you the different podcasts, and then you're going to choose the diasporan podcaster of the year. When you get in there, you have all the options, and fortunately mine is the topmost, key A, so you just click that, and hey, add in your email to confirm that you have voted, and then it goes through. One thing I've been let known is that you can vote at least multiple times. So every day you can wake up in the morning and do the vote. You don't have to do it one time and let it go. So that's one of the things I found out. And I think people can do some bit of voting. Also, I think you will, I don't know if you talked about it. I'm the ambassador for the Afros and Audio, and you get a 15% discount if you go and use my code, which is the AU 2024 SBZ. That's Sam Bravo Zulu, and you get a 15% coming onto Baltimore, and this is going to be on the 18th to the 20th of October. So it's packed. So a lot of things are happening.
I love that. And for y'all who don't, we really need the vote. So if you really want to vote and you couldn't catch that out when this video posts up, just comment, how can I vote, or give me the steps, and we'll send them to you. We'll try also to put them there. Now that Sambaza shared his news, I'm gonna share mine.
All right, here we go.
Yo, I want to say thank you to every fucking body, including the haters, whether you were hating, whether you were supporting. I am fucking thankful of you, because as of last week, Talk Show with P got 10K downloads, baby.
That's what I'm talking about.
To go from not caring about downloads and not watching my numbers, and to watch all those 10 downloads come together, it was a beautiful moment. It was a fucking incredible moment to know that I've been doing this shit and there are 10K downloads. And actually, and somebody called me and was like, there might have been, it might have been hard to get this 10K, because it took me 4 years. I know some people get their way sooner, and shout out to y'all, but it doesn't matter what time you get there, you fucking got there, because some people give up in the middle. So, and she was like, but then the next 20K is gonna come so easy. And because my downloads have increased, and I think I want to shout out to the Threads community, because the Threads community literally pushed my shit, and I have gotten new followers, new downloads, all the episodes I've been listening to, and it's just amazing to watch. So shout out to Talk Shit with P, y'all. And it's funny I say that, because today the conversation is actually about power of conferences and communities.
Yep.
And before we get to that, I want to shout out Billy over here, who's down here. If any podcasters are out there, Billy is looking to get into as many podcasts as he can. So y'all reach out to Billy.
Yeah.
And yeah, he left me on red a few times, but he will be coming on Talk Shit with you eventually. But and shout out to my girl down there. I don't want to mention her name because she doesn't like, she's such an introvert and lives a private life. But I see her on the comments there. So shout out to you for joining in. But Sambaza, we're going to talk about power of conferences and communities. How many conferences have you gone to when it comes to podcasting?
I think one right now.
Afros and
audio, yeah. But I remember I used to do it most of them I usually do them online. So I'll attend them online, and then after that we catch on, and then I'll basically say maybe four online, and then now one physically, and then I'm going for this other one. Hopefully I plan to attend more as it comes about. but it's just a way of, balancing the life and work balance. I have to make sure I can get to a point where it will not interfere, because when you put in some time to you actually put some time to travel, and that also takes away time from something else. So there's some stuff that you have to kind of balance out. Yeah. So that's what my plan is.
Financial wise, right? Conferences ain't cheap, right?
Yeah. It takes time and what have you, and time off too.
Exactly. And so for those of us who don't have big companies behind us, so we don't work a good job, or we're not very financially stable, it's not something we can do every year to everything. And that's why when I started going to conferences, my one conference was Podfest, right? I was like, because that's where I started, that's where all the connections come. So no matter what, I'm never missing Podfest because of that. Like, if I can't afford anything else, Podfest is at least gonna be the one I pick. And then slowly as time goes, you start wanting to go to these different ones, but you think about accommodation, the ticket to the conference itself, the
That's if it's not close or in your city.
yes, and then the travel, and then of course you're gonna eat because you're gonna be with people who are constantly wanting to meet at restaurants. Let's meet here, and you can just be sitting there talking to people, and you're not even ordering a drink or a bite or something.
Right.
So yes, and sometimes you're like, well, I'm going to this new city, I've never gone there. This is my time to visit. You might also make some time to actually go do some shit that you've always wanted to do when you're in that city because I'm already here. So it is a lot. And that's why my strategy is always either to try to speak, because at least that gives me a free entrance. I don't have to worry about getting a ticket, or try to volunteer and see what they can give or something. Because if it wasn't for that, I would not be going to conferences.
True. That's true. That's one way of getting around it, is to volunteer. And again, also, it forces you to volunteer, which means when you volunteer and do something, you're actually putting an input, like you're bringing something to the table for yourself and for the community that you're going to be meeting, if that's your first time, or if it's a community that you've been to for a while. So there's that aspect where I think when you say I want to talk, it has some impact.
Speaking of volunteer and conferences, is that the reason why you decided to become an ambassador for Afros, or what was your thought process on that? Because
Well,
that's also giving your time to a community, right? And a lot of people will be like, but that's 2 hours or this hours that I can do this because it's free. And most of us have that mindset where if I'm not getting paid for it, why should I do it, kind of shit, right? So
so
why did you
remember
decide
remember
to, yeah.
remember when you say you're podcasting, you start off from here, and then you keep moving a step further, keep going, keep going, keep going up here, right? Okay, so first you attend one, you see how it is, or you volunteer to work one as a speaker, right? After multiple times of being a speaker, I think it's for growth purposes, you want to try to do something else. So this time they offered to be an ambassador, and I said, okay, let me learn how to be an ambassador, which will teach me something new or a new skill of how to present myself out there to people. Right now, I'm doing advertising, telling people, hey, you know what? I'm going to be there. Before, when I used to speak, I would say, hey, guys, I'm speaking to at the Afros and Audio, and leave it at that. But now that I'm an ambassador, I keep going to putting myself out there to many places, something that I don't usually do. So it's a learning process. So these are the things that you get yourself out of a comfort zone as a podcaster, to be able to learn the craft, learn a trade, learn something new. Because guess what? When you speak, you're speaking in front of a crowd. Sometimes you haven't done that. Yes, you speak behind a mic, or you speak on video, like the two of us, right? Then there's that option. Now you're going to be speaking in front of a crowd, right? So you've taken that practice of having spoken off of the front of a screen, or maybe it was an audio only, and now you are in front of the people. Maybe you did a video. One time I've done videos. That's when we presented, we were doing them lives, like video lives like this. And then now it's going to be where I'm around there helping out. And hopefully, if everything works out, we may end up doing a presentation with you. So you see, those are the different facets that come up when you do stuff like that. And the reason why I volunteer myself to do things.
And it's funny you brought out the two things I want to touch on there. It's funny how you say you go, you see, and then you choose. Because with me with Podfest, right, I attended it during 2020 and 2021 doing virtually online. And then 2022, when I went, I was speaking, but I also went to be an observer because I've never been to a podcasting conference. I was like, let me observe. Then in 2023, I volunteered and I was an observer. And mind you, in 2022, while I was also observing, I somehow also ended up volunteering because I just like helping, right? So it just ended up, yeah, sure. What do you need help with? Yeah. But it wasn't like I had officially signed up to be a volunteer. So in 2023, I officially signed up to be a volunteer and I was also speaking. In 2024, I volunteered, I was the ambassador, I was speaking, and I was the MC. In 2025, I'm the mayor and waiting for whatever title it takes. But I feel like you're right. The more when you go and you feel the energy at these conferences, it moves you in the direction you're supposed to move. Because some
Right.
conferences you might go and be like, I just want to come and just look, right? I don't want to talk, I don't want to volunteer, I don't want to help. And then there's some that move you to the extent you're like, oh my God, I want to be a part of this next year because of what I see. Like I recently came back from Empowered Podcasting and everybody was asking, did you apply to speak? Are you going to speak? I said no. And my reasons for not wanting to speak was because it was my birthday weekend. I did not want to worry about preparing my presentation. And this is not me being cocky like, oh, I was gonna get, but there was also that slight, okay, I might not get it, but what the fuck if I get it? I don't want to get it and then I have to be like, oh, sorry, I don't want to speak or anything. So I was like, I'd rather not. But when they asked, do you want to volunteer? I was like, I can do that because the community that, yes, we might have not met in person for the first time, but a lot of us have met individually in different phases and we already know the dynamic of the group that is like, I know how to function in this surrounding, so I can volunteer. But if it was like I'd not known anybody personally, like me and Mark have been knowing each other for 3 years now or something. So if it was for people that I really didn't know, like Afros, when I came the first time, I didn't want anything because I didn't know yet the dynamic of those people. I'm Black, I support my Black people, but I also know I haven't been raised as Black as most people have. So sometimes I might get misunderstood because of how I speak or how, because sitting with most Africans sometimes because I wasn't raised African as much as most Africans were, but I am African proudly, and I do get respectful to African elders because hey, one thing in an African country, respect is number one. So that I know.
Right.
But I've also not been raised as Black as most people. So like I'm always like, that's why in most spaces when I enter, I first feel the room and the energy before me personally being there. And that's why I say I am sometimes shy and depending on the environment I am. But then I saw the dynamic, I fit in, I loved everybody. The energy was amazing. So that's why I was like, okay, this year I'm going to help out. I'm going to volunteer. I'm going to do whatever. Like I was even shocked when they accepted me to speak because I was like, again, and this is why I hate trying because Podfest Afros, I tried for the first time and with that in my head, I was like, I'm going to get a no. So I was just ready for a no and then I got accepted and I was like, oh shit, now I got to speak. So I only apply to speak when I really know I want to speak and I have value. And speaking of that, because you mentioned we're gonna be doing that together. At Empowered, I was with Rokaya. Shout out to Rokaya, by the way.
Oh yeah,
For
you didn't say
anybody,
anything about that.
hold on, I'm about to. For anybody out there who knows what has been going on in Jamaica, Rokaya needs your help. She has a GoFundMe link. If you can help in any ways, again, we're talking about conferences and communities is about supporting each other, not just in the podcasting way, in however we can. So every little bit helps. I will put the link up there. So if you can help in whatever way you can, sometimes it's not money. You can share the page, you can tell your friends about it, you can deliver whatever you can, like whatever ways you can help, even prayers, go ahead and do that. But Rokaya was there, and oh my God, I keep forgetting her name. The other one, she was also at Afro's. Oh my God.
Where you?
Yeah, and she had just come in from a music festival. She had just flown in from, but so me and Rokaya were talking about. I was telling her what me and you talked, how we would do if we get a pan, and I don't want to share the details because I need people to show up so they can see what we have planned. But I was sharing to her what we talked about, and she was like, "Oh my God, I have this and this and this." I'm gonna speak in Swahili. Akasema anangoma and I'm Keka. I was like, if you can bring it, we're gonna give them a whole experience of this shit. So she's like, oh my God, that's such a great idea. So I hope we do get to speak.
Yeah,
and
better.
If talent, you're listening, and whoever is part of the talent management, just know we're about to bring you an African experience. So y'all better just accept us and let us give you that experience. Y'all go tag Afros and Audios and tell them to let us speak.
I think they're about. They should be ready by now with the speakers. Or is it end of this month?
You remember in the meeting they said they're gonna start, because you remember they were dividing who wants to be in marketing, who wants to be in talent.
Oh, yeah.
But they did say at the end of I think August.
We have to wait till the end of August. You know how long this thing's like. For example,
I mean, to me, if you've already applied, you should already be figuring out how you're getting there. That way, you're ready. If you get accepted, if you're not accepted, and you can't go because that's an extra ticket to buy or whatever financial, then that's fine. But once you decide to apply to be a speaker, I think you should already be starting to plan. Because
what about the talk? Because see, you're planning for your talks, right? And then when you
yeah, but by the time you apply for your talk, you guys have, how many times did we have a meeting? We already know the structure of where we're gonna go. So even when we get by end of August, September, October, we still have 1 month. Like, as long as everybody knows what part they're talking, it's not like we have to plan a whole presentation. We already have people slides with the information created. Excuse me, that just needs to be put together, and we just do 2 meetings literally to just go through, like, these are the questions, because before applying we kind of already narrowed down everything. So if you need more than 2 months to plan for your talk, you should always be prepared. Once you
how intricate it was, because look at it like this. I had one prepared for myself before we got together, and it had moving pieces, which would require me having to go out and sort other resources. And now getting to sort out the resources, you know, the way when you're asking for people for resources, it takes time. Some people be like, oh, I want to,
started doing that while you're waiting for the answers. That's what I'm saying. You gotta stay prepared. Like, if you know this shit you're doing, it's gonna take a while. Whether you get accepted for your presentation or not, you should have already done this, because at the end of the day, that information is still viable. You could still end up turning it into, like, oh, an episode, or look at this project that I was working for, or you can use it for another thing, or even while you go there to Afros, you can create your own meetup and present it. Like, so you should always be staying. I tell people, when you decide to apply, that's when you should stay.
But do you think we have meetups when we go to the. Would it be possible for a meetup? But maybe a breakfast meetup would be something.
No, but you just create, because it's not like you have to. If you feel like, hey, I wasn't accepted to talk, I wasn't accepted to speak, but I have something valuable I wanna share. So you just post
Breakfast.
like, yeah, hey, you wanna go to breakfast? I have something, or in the afternoon dinner, or before. Like you gotta create your own luck or your own. Don't wait for people. You know, like how Tyler Perry says, I didn't wait to be invited to the table. I created my own fucking table. So you don't have a presentation? Sure. And this is something we're talking about at Empowered, right? I'm not going to mention names because I don't want to put people's businesses out there, but this is something we're talking about. And some presentations got some presenters didn't show up, so there were certain presentations that didn't happen, and there was time slots. And before that, I knew of two speakers who had already weren't gonna make it, right? Because life happens. Sometimes you wanna do and you have planned to show up, but then shit happens. That's life.
Mm.
So I told one of my friends, I was like, yo, you applied, but you weren't accepted. Just prepare and be ready. That way, when we go there, if anything happens, you can literally end up doing it. And she felt a certain way about it. So when we went to the conference, and I had to MC in the morning, and then after lunch, somebody else was taking over the room I was MCing. But then after lunch, and people who were in my room really enjoyed me. After lunch, the person who was supposed to MC the room, apparently miscommunication, they didn't know, and they were also supposed to speak afterwards. Like, so I was going to start enjoying my birthday because it was my birthday. I was like, I've already done my part in the morning. Now let's go. And then I got pulled into the room like, hey, we don't have an MC. You've been doing a good job. Are you introducing us? I was like, wait, what? They're like, no, we liked you. We enjoyed you. Can you MC us? I was like, okay, fuck it. You know, sometimes you gotta give the people what they want. And I did. I introduced them, and then I went to look for the person who was supposed to be in the room. That's when he told me, like, yo, I wasn't told.
Right.
I did not know. And I'm about to go on the stage after this person, so I don't know how I was supposed to MC that room, and I'm in this other room. I was like, cool, I'll do it. One of my other friends, she was just a volunteer of just checking the rooms and making sure, but she's also a podcaster. I was like, yo, you wanna MC a few of these people? We can tag team. Like, you're a podcaster, so I know you can do it, and this is your opportunity if you're ready. She was like, put me in. So you see, I was like, I don't have to personally do it because I wasn't scheduled. And if you have people who are willing to be put on the spot and help, why not take the help?
That's
And she did amazing. But
Mhm.
then in between, we had one of the speakers who also didn't show up. No call, no show. Nobody knew anything. She didn't call. And people, if you have said you're gonna speak and you got this opportunity and you're just not gonna show up, that's foul. Like, I prefer you give a heads up so other people can get, because you got that opportunity somebody else missed. And you're also making people look bad because of your, first of all, you're making yourself look bad, because now I'm like, oh, that speaker never showed, never called, nobody knew anything what was going on, and she was supposed to be next. So I literally had to go to the room and say, hey, this speaker won't come, this room is free now, you can go check other rooms for the next sessions, or you can hang out here and just connect with people, but the next session will be at this time. Now imagine, because the room was free, nobody was there. If that friend of mine who we told to prepare and be ready, she could have literally jumped on and presented, because it was just an open room. Whoever is there, even if you're just speaking for yourself, that's content. You're sharing your speaking skills. You're trying, like,
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
that's why I say always be prepared, just in case. I wasn't supposed to be emceeing in the after, and literally I did not know the speaker's name, the speaker sessions. I just worried about my session area. But then I did it on the spot, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna mess up, but this wasn't. It was, I was demanded last minute, so we're gonna work together. But you always gotta be ready. So when you go to conferences or around these things. Just be ready, because you never know. And sometimes we say, God, give me a sign or give me an opportunity. Those are the opportunities, but because we expect opportunities to come in an email or a folded letter or something, we miss the opportunities. Just jump in and grab the shit out of it. So,
You're right.
Sambaza, start working on your presentation. Whether you get accepted or not, who knows? You might come to Talk Shit with P and talk about it. We might give you a platform to share your shit, whatever that presentation was.
It is, like I said, it has so many moving parts, and it's dope. It would have been dope. It's still going to be dope if they take me. So that's what
and
I'm.
Even if they don't,
uh-huh.
you can start. You can do like your own webinar, like just put on our own.
And that's what I think it's probably going to be. If I don't,
Especially LinkedIn.
they don't make
Leverage
me do it,
LinkedIn on that.
I'll probably make a webinar, have it run through, because I've been exploring that, some of the things, like a podcast, that you want to do things different. So you want to add something to your mix of things, which is what I'm thinking of doing next time. But that being said, now you are you we're talking about, now we just went off topic here, but let's go back
No,
to
we're
where
kind of talking conferences
our
and
our
communities
community
and staying
conference.
ready.
So yeah, that's part of it also, staying ready. Now, when you talk about the community, what do you think will be the power of a community?
To me first, I know most people say diversity, right? And I want that, but to me, it doesn't matter if there's diversity but there's no support, because we can shout diversity. Okay, you have every color, every race, every sexual, whatever it is, because these days the LGBT, the letters just keep adding. I don't even know anymore how many letters are there, so I'm not gonna even try. But if you have all that diversity but there's no support, what's the point? Just to cry diversity? So to me, the power of community is the support.
Right.
And that's why I'm gonna always rock with Podfest, because the support they give me. I'm always gonna rock with Mopad because of the support they give. And when I talk about support, I'm not just talking about the podcasting community. Like, the support also as personal people, because at the end of the day, we are human beings. We're not just podcasters. We are human beings first. The shit that we go through in the times of our needs, is that community there to support you, or is that community there just when it's your podcast? Podfest, a lot of people who have met in Podfest, including the owner himself, Chris Grimmins, have been a huge support in my life. Moped Boys, Joe and Mike, I can never say enough about them. And Chase, when I had my fire, those people, like, when death happens, or like fire, the first few weeks everybody gives a shit, and then eventually people go away because life keeps moving. Everybody has stuff, and you're still remain in that state of, I still lost my husband or my father or my things. So that keeps living with you. These people, for the whole 1 year, they were constantly checking on me about my fire, and I appreciated that. Empowered, I couldn't go to Empowered conference, and because they knew how much I meant to them, they showed up. But there are also people in that group, like, I will never be tired of saying, Amanda Amanda from Songswipe, she checks on me daily on my health personally.
Mm-hmm.
Soda, Jackie, our own, like, we are literally each other's buddies. We help each other. If Jackie knows I'm having a bad day, she'll come and get me, and I hang out with her and her kids. The kids give me so much energy and power. They literally, we will swim, she will feed me. Loyalty, if I don't have money for food, she'll send me money. Like, she has food stamps, so she'll order me food. Like, it goes beyond that, like beyond podcasting. And then we come to Afros and Audios, where I met you and to Raf, America. Me and him might go back and forth in person and everything, but when he saw my post on Facebook about my glasses, he reached out to me and was like, "Hey, I'm sorry about your glasses. Are you collecting donations?" And was like, "Listen, I really wish I could help so much, but here's a little bit I can help." And he sent me money to help me get new glasses. So it's not even about the money or how much he sent, it's the thought behind it, you know? People going beyond the podcasting itself. So when I talk about communities, to me, I rely on where the support is. And when I mean support, not just podcasting, but beyond podcasting. Mark sometimes might annoy the shit out of me from Empowered Podcasting, but he constantly texts me to say, "I love you." Like, just because, and sometimes you need to hear that. And all these amazing people that I met through podcasting, and there's so many more. I would end up doing a whole thing if I was to mention everybody. I have Podmatch, Alex Sanfilippo, and his wife, who literally one time sent me a prayer because I had lost my job and I was going through a hard time, and I really needed that. And not a prayer, you know, when people say, "I'll pray for you," no, this was somebody literally praying for you on a voice note. And every time I'm going through shit, I go play that voice note and I listen to it. So that's why, to me, those communities, I keep on pouring. So people
Right.
might talk about diversity and encouraging, and you know, I want to try. All that is important, but number one to me is support. What about you?
When you start with the power, well, diversity is one option, right? And then there's that where you get help, but also there's the sense of belonging where you fit in right. You might be doing things that are lining towards your goals. You probably have things that are common amongst the goals. That's why you join a community. I would join a community where, to me, it will help me move ahead from where I am. Now, remember there's the C4 Collective. I'm going to give an example. The C4 Collective is a bunch of
Oh
African.
yeah, 1 minute before you finish, because you brought up the Sikh Collective. On my birthday this year, I decided to do you know, Facebook lets you put a sponsor for something. So I was collecting money for Black Podcasting Award. And when I saw it on the list, I was happy because most of the time it's just all these big organizations. Shout out to Sean from the C Collective. He was the first person and the only person who supported that. And even though I know he didn't have to, because he's part of that community, and I'm pretty sure he supports and does amazing things outside. But the fact that he saw that and he supported was like, this is what I talk about support. Like, you know, you didn't have to, but you decided to do in support of
Right.
my movement for the community that we both love. So yeah, I needed to add that on.
Okay, thank you. I really appreciate that. And Sean, hey, you see, we got to do things together. So C4 Collective, what do I gain out of it? When I came into it, we were a bunch of podcasters just sitting there, you know, hanging out. And right now we have weekly meetings, 3 days a week, where we talk about information, we share information. Then there's that sharing of information that is very important. When you get into a group, know what kind of information is being shared. And then once you have that information being shared, make sure it has value. The value of what you're going to get is what you will spread around and what is going to make you better. Because here you are as a podcaster, you join this group and you say, okay, I belong to this group. What am I getting out of it? Um, I'll take myself, for example, using the C4 Collective. They used to have a 30-day challenge where you would produce at least a 5-minute video for 30 days continuously. And this is 30 days continuously. They used to do it in February, and then they did one in October. And I happened to get into one which was in October. And what was interesting was I chose the Kenyan elections as my topic. And out of that, I learned a lot about the Kenyan politics just by doing this experiment. And then I had to present it in a way that it would be interesting for somebody to listen to. So I started from the history to what was current and what I think the future would be. See, that is what I think you are looking at in terms of growth as a podcaster when you join these groups. And then with the meetings, you have like power meetings where you talk about what's the latest thing going on, how you'd collaborate. And guess what? This is where other collaborations come in. Currently, you've seen every Wednesday from 8 to 9 Central Standard Time, we have a show that we do with Jen, Sambaza Podcast and Jen. We sit there, we bring stories together, and they're stories of different angles. But guess what? This has come from the C4 Collective. Now we have the Empowered Podcasting. I have other collectives that I'm joining. There's one called Podbreakers, Podbreak actually. And these are still communities that I've met people, and I can go on and on to tell you what happens here with these communities. But what I'll say is they're like layers where you open up, you keep moving, right? And there's a project that I'm doing starting from next week, I think, which actually started off from Podbreak group, the community. Without that Podbreak community, I would not be moving in that direction. You see, so each group will bring a value to you. The question is, you got to figure it out and then say, hey, this is what it is. So value, and then your growth, and then it also, well, empowered podcasting empowers you. You become empowered to do something, empowered to create something, and branch out. So, Paula, it's true. You have to find groups, and even if you talk about diversity, the groups themselves should be diverse. They should not be of one particular set of subject, unless you are comfortable with that. But I would say be open to your community.
And he forgot to say connections as well, because certain groups might not add as much value, but their value is in connections, right? Because I think the reason why most people don't want to run communities is the pressure of constantly providing value, right? And with everyday living. So some groups are just literally there for you to connect with other individuals. And I do get value from Podbreak, but I also don't really pay attention to anything on WhatsApp. No offense to, like, literally. And you have noticed, and it's not only Podbreak, even the African group we have, like, I am very an emoji person. Like, I stay away from my WhatsApp is muted, silent, no notification, nothing. Even the only person who has notifications on my WhatsApp is my dad. And sometimes I even ignore him because he can get a little bit annoying. Because WhatsApp, for us Africans, WhatsApp is for our families, and most of the time we avoid them. Because if you've been to those aunties group and everything where they see a news headlines and they want to bring it to the group and start worrying about shit that's unnecessary and all the pressure. So yeah, but I've gotten connections because me and my dad wouldn't have been able to get on a podcast to talk about our relationship if it wasn't for Podbreak and me and Sibo connecting from there. And after you allowed us to share certain episodes, and I ended up sharing my father's episodes. So it all comes back to that. But when you were talking about being comfortable and all that, I feel like when I said support is my number one, I forgot to say that comes after, because I'm not gonna go to a group where I can't be myself and then expect support, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, Big Z is on here. Shout out to Big Z. Big Z is one of my most, I love this man, man. Is a Podfest hero, and I just love him. He touches me, annoys me, but he has a good soul. You know, Greek people are just full of love and family. So yeah, I love me some Big Z, and he recently celebrated his anniversary. So shout out to everybody who recently celebrated their anniversary. I love you back. I can't wait to see you in January. Normally I get to see him once a year, but this time I got to see him twice. The second time was a different reason, but I got to meet his wife, who's amazing. And that's the other thing about communities, right? You join these communities and you get to meet people, and then you go in rare occasions, like when we were at Empowered, a lot of people came with their spouses and their kids. So now you get to meet their family and feel like it really is more of a family. Podfest to me, I tell everybody, Podfest to me is like going home for Thanksgiving. But then, you know, some people dread going home for Thanksgiving because they have that one uncle or that one. But this, you have all the amazing relatives. Everybody is just so incredible that you're just so excited. And even the ones that you haven't met yet, you're even more excited to meet. Like, it's like a homecoming of just happiness and surroundings and good things. So, literally,
I think
yesterday,
about
last week I booked my ticket to Podfest, and it's in January. But that's how excited I am. Like,
oh, where's it gonna be in January? Time?
most of the time it's end of the year in January, but this time it's early on the 19th. I think I should know this, but the second week of January on the 19th. Zach, if you're still there, let me know the
So,
date. So I'm gonna go.
so
But
the location though, the location.
Podfest is always Florida.
Oh,
It's always gonna be
okay.
in Orlando. Podfest, that's where it started. Well, it started in Tampa, but it always happens in Orlando. So most of the time people get excited because it's January where everybody is at around the cold areas, then
Orlando,
they come.
Orlando.
Yes, it's always Orlando.
So so for me, I have to get a calendar of events. So January usually, I'm getting ready for February, where there's rugby in LA. So that's one of my trips. So I get like three trips a year where I have solo, and then one I have to go to Kenya at the end of the year, and which also now
I
Africa.
should I should
Uh,
say, no matter what you do, you need to come to Podfest. Like,
ah,
and most of the time, people. Here's the thing: whenever I tell people about Podfest, people assume that I'm getting paid to just talk about it, but they don't pay me. They don't ask me. I do it because of all the emotions, all the connections, all the people, all the things I feel over there. And everybody who has attended after I invited them last year, this year, a friend of mine flew in from Canada, and he's a fuck boy, he's a party boy. He was like, I'm coming there, but I don't think I'm gonna even hang out so much at Podfest. I'm coming for Orlando. I was like, cool. Literally day, because he was leaving way early on Sunday morning. Was like, oh my god, I wish I stayed for that. He didn't even go anywhere outside. He literally was going through all the sessions. Was like, I want to listen to everybody and I don't have enough time. And he was like, I wish I came earlier because the fun starts way earlier. And he was like, next year I'm coming from Wednesday to Sunday evening. I want to feel everything. And it was his first time. And everybody who came this year first time, after I told them, they're like, yo, we are coming back. And they're telling their people. Like, and I think that's why Podfest works, because they don't need to sell you about Podfest. The people who go and experience it will literally start talking about it. This is what happens when you just create a very inclusive atmosphere, a fun atmosphere. We stay up until 4, 5, 6 a.m. We like, I tell people, however weird you are, however introvert you are, you're gonna find your people. At Podfest, you're gonna find every person where you belong to.
I think I I think
He's a big deal at Podfest. This is a big compliment. So for all my cigar smoking people, this is the person you need to hang out with at Podfest, because he's the big baller. You know how Greek men are, eh? let me not even go in there, but
So when we, yeah, you're right. The first and 16, I have to make some choices. It's remember it's cost money, so you have to make your choices. You have to make plans. Family work balance, family work and personal
I'm
balance. You have to do all.
saying I feel like if you go to it's okay to miss rugby this one time and come to Podfest. You yourself will be like, you know what, Paula? And
Okay.
LA is more expensive than Orlando.
So you have to remember when you said about connections.
And speaking of connections, Podfest, right? They have an incredible amount of sponsors who come out there, the booths, right? And this is how I know Zach. I connected with him at Podfest and I love him. And I met his wife this year. But then also Mopad. They have the most amazing marketing tool for your podcast and everything. They are literally family to me and everything. I met them at Podfest. But then also you have all these streaming sites, Lipsyn, Streamier. So Blueberry, you have Capshaw, you have all these people who are literally up there willing to talk to you and probably even sponsor you or give you lifetime deals depending on your talk and what you're willing to do, right? I tell people, closed mouths don't get fed. They're not gonna know how to want to sponsor you or anything if you're not speaking. My first sponsor came from Podfest. Actually, my first and second sponsors came from Podfest, and because we were talking and stuff. So you get to be in access with all these sponsors, and we always have our booth area. Excuse me, sponsor area is like biggest sponsorships. How many are there? Like 30 people who are just and goodies, free bags. I hate to go, but I wanted to say hello, my love. Love you, baby. I'll text you. I keep on sending him country songs these days. Thank you for stopping by. But
Oh, stop by the way.
yes, so you get access to these people who you'd have to email them constantly until to get the person at the top. You might get those people who are in customer service, but you're not gonna get. But Buzzsprout are always sponsors there, and you get the owner, the co-founder, the Buzzcut podcast team. Like all the people are literally there
Hmm.
and willing to talk and share and have a moment with you and connect with you and even come to your show. They don't care how many downloads you have. So it's an
And,
opportunity of connecting to people who.
and that's the one thing I was trying to say. Remember when I talked about projects, things that I'm doing to collaborate, things I'm doing with you. If you've noticed this year, I've upped the game a little bit. I'm not on the audio only. We're on video now. We're doing Instagram, and I have something that I'm going on with online. We're going live, and then there all these facets. Now, as you increase your marketing, this is building the brand. I'm building the brand to whereby
Increasing
somebody
your audience.
right to get more audience. Now, once it gets to a level that I'm comfortable with, right, and I feel now I'm comfortable because before I was only audio, I would not do video. So now I'm comfortable with the video, and I'm stepping out more. So I'm building up the brand. Once it comes to a point where I can say, you know what, we can go there and we can do this. Well, I still am able to do it, but there's some things that I'm working towards. When I come up, I'm gonna give you a better resume than just say, hey, I'm a podcaster. Well, what do you have, right? 10K downloads, they're there. Online, they're there. Presence is there. How many shows have you done online? This much. Where have you spoken? Here. You see, so once I get to that point, I want to be comfortable to where I'm looking at you and you're telling me, oh, do you have this? No, you don't have an excuse at that time. You want me. You see what I'm saying? But again,
But here's the thing:
all
if you're gonna
it is.
wait for everything to get in place, you might take a while. Because again, algorithm has its own shit. So sometimes, and that's why these smaller audiences keep getting these things because we have in our heads that I have to have 10K downloads. I have to have this. As long as And I was at Podmatch because they were doing their quarterly talk, the Pod Talks, on Thursday. And literally, somebody was talking to us about getting sponsors before even the show aired. Like before if you believe in what the shit you're building, and you have the courage and confidence to share that and accumulate it and let people know, those who believe, those who see the vision will see it. So you don't have to wait. I understand wanting to wait or doing it that way, but I'm just saying that you don't have to wait, because sometimes I think that's what we tell ourselves, because sometimes we are scared of the success we see about to happen, so we kind of delay it. We are sometimes our worst nightmares, our own critics, because we put this, oh, I'm not going to do this until I get here. But that's just because we're trying to slow ourselves or put blocks on ourselves, because we all know the algorithm is fucked up. We all know sometimes the numbers don't matter as much to certain people, depending on your niche and what you got to offer.
So, Paul, there's one thing I always, when I started off podcasting to where I am right now, right? It's going to be 5 years in a couple of weeks. I'm getting into the 5th year in a couple of weeks, right? And I'm going to do a birthday.
When is your 5th year?
I think I'm probably in the 5th year, but I kind of don't tell people. I
When
wait
is
till
your anniversary?
25th of August, but it's usually sometime around this time because there's a reason for that. And
so technically, August, when we do our Saturday once a month, it's gonna be around that time, and it's your time to pick a topic. So I guess we're celebrating again in August.
right, we're gonna celebrate again in August. So I have been very intentional about what I do. And to me personally, my journey is to where I have control. And I guess I want to enjoy this part. I want to enjoy podcasting. I love podcasting. I think when you keep moving up, there's a season that I feel that it's going to come to a time when I'm going to look at podcasting and say, you know what? I used to be that guy who used to do audio only. Now look, I'm doing audio and video. Or maybe I am now owning a media network, right? Because it's heading there, right? It could be Sambaza Media Network or something like that. But all these are, right? Thank you.
Hey.
But see, I want to enjoy the journey. I don't want to push myself. See, push yourself. What do you say? It's like the turtle and the hare, the
You
rabbit.
you do know a Swahili quote does not sound the same when you say it in English, yeah?
So you see, so enjoy it as you're going through it and love the process. Yes, I understand there's a process. There's a time I'll be like, I'm sitting over, I cannot sit down and say, hey, I want to sit down and do a podcast. No, there will not be that time because maybe I'll be managing other people's work. I'll be doing this. And then maybe podcasting, I'll do like one maybe out of the blue, or maybe do a series here and there. So you never know. So for me, I'm just taking it slowly, enjoying this part. Like right now, when we come on Wednesdays, man, I love when it comes on Wednesday, 8 o'clock. I hit that live button where they're talking, right? Who knows, next year we could be doing maybe lives weekly, or lives monthly, or lives daily in the morning and the afternoon. You never know. But the whole thing is just move at a pace that you're going to be able to take time and enjoy it. And remember, I also have a family, so there's a family work balance I have to maintain and all this. But I can tell you truly, I'm loving it. I love it 100%.
And I love that, and I agree with that. But I also, there's a part that I disagree, because again, I'm going back to, I've had brands reach out to me to sponsor me, and I've declined. Even though I've wanted the money, I've needed the money, I've declined. And that's why I say, when you're your authentic self and you know your why and you believe in your thing, the people you're going to partner with, especially when you're enjoying this shit, it's going to be the people who believe in your vision and know you as a person. So they're not going to, you're going to negotiate the deal in your terms to make it, take it or leave it. Like, yes, I get get to say fuck you or fuck not. No matter especially now when we're still this limited, we get to say fuck you, I don't want your business, because we're not on yet. We are not like, we don't have big sponsors who make decisions, once you grow big. So you can still do what you enjoy and love, and also keep pursuing things, because you are making the decisions, you are choosing who you want, and the ones you pick, understand what you stand for and what you're doing. But that only works if you're being your authentic self and understanding your why. So you can do both. Even right now, you don't have to wait. That's what my point is. But I also get the point of just being like, because sometimes I'm doing a lot of things right now, right? Because sometimes you also have that thing like, I don't have so much fucking time, right? And you feel the need of promoting everything at once. And that's where I was, and I was like, listen, people are getting confused of what you even do right now, because there's so much going on. I needed to look myself in the mirror and be like, bitch, would you listen to you if you're on the other side? Because you're not making sense right now. You got this, you got this, you got this, you got this. Yes, they all interject, but they're all also confusing to people who don't even know what the fuck you do.
Right.
So
Right.
we have to be real at ourselves and just start with one thing. But I feel like most of the time, and that's where I was, at one point I saw my success, and I'm not going to lie, I'm about to be very successful. And that's why I tell people, if I've ever reached out to you and asked you to be on my podcast and you downplayed me or whatever, baby, your time is up. If I've ever like right now, once I get to that level, and I'm gonna be that bitch. I'm sorry, I'm gonna be that bitch schedule with my assistant. Like, I'm only gonna focus on those people, the ones who gave me their time when I was nobody. Oh, you will get my attention and I will support. But those people who acted all brand new and shit, oh baby, you're gonna talk to my assistant. Like, I'm gonna have 3 assistants. By the time you get to the third one, I'm ready to deal with your ass. But sometimes we see our success and we get scared or nervous, so we end up putting roadblocks for ourselves. Like, oh, I need to do this. Those are roadblocks, because you have this excuse. Oh, I'm not going to do that until I get to this number. And sometimes when you put the limit, have you noticed that one day you might wake up and you have like 50 downloads in one day? And then one day you wake up and you only have 5 downloads in one day. But as soon as you start putting roadblocks, like, oh, I need this number, that's when even your downloads start degrading, like going low, because you are putting juju on yourself. Like, allow that shit to happen naturally. Like, don't let it go. You meet the right people and you feel the need of doing something because the opportunity is there, grab it. These things are meant to limit you, and baby, we're not here to be limited. Because if anything, I tell people, if anything, COVID has told us that this shit is not guaranteed.
Right. And talk show 256 or 256 say pin it percent. We'll talk.
Thank you, baby.
So, Paula,
and that's Kenya for you. By the way, before we end, and since we're talking about conferences and communities, but we're gonna go a little bit on communities. There's something incredible that you're part of that's happening in Kenya. You wanna let the people know a little bit about that?
Oh well, there were
an update.
Wow, there's a lot of everything, like 24/7. You might think that you're waiting on one thing tomorrow, the next. However, a lot has been going on with what we call Gen Zs. There has been protest marches, and I've been part of a group that has organized 2 marches already in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and we're called Voices in Diaspora. What we're trying to do is create a safe space where people can come talk about what's going on, and we can strategize. And from here, we will probably go out and give people civic education regarding what you need to know here as a diasporan and back home. So essentially, there has been the finance bill and a lot of corruption has been going on. So this is something that's been going on all the time. And it started off with the loans that we have gotten. Now we're trying to pay back these loans. The government wants to tax us. But like I say, if you're a broke man, how much more are you going to tax me? I mean, surely, if I have my last cent and you tax me, what else? Where are you going to get the money from? And I say I can't pay, So the people are avoiding to get to that level, and the only problem is there's a political class that has been seen to make money out of everybody else. So you make money, you pay for government, you pay your taxes, but they seem to eat up all the chunk of it in terms of salary and everything else. Whereas all you're supposed to do is to make laws. Yes, I understand. And we are also part of the problem. But at some point, we can change that narrative. And that's what we're trying to do by being more vocal with what we're, we're projecting to the people and telling them, hey, this is not right. Now, fortunately, the Gen Zs or the young kids came out and went to protest about these issues for us. And it caused some awakening of a lot of people. And that also got our attention. So here's what we said. We're going to help as much as we can, be it financially, be it with whatever materials that they will need. Like there were bills that needed paid for hospital victims. There were lawyer fees that needed to be paid. And there were, funeral expenses. And even though the Kenyans raised some amount themselves at home, there was a chunk of it that also came from the diaspora. This is not to say that there's that disconnect, but it just shows how people can do a lot collectively, to the point that the government themselves was scared. Now they're accusing Ford Foundation for financing the people who are going out there to protest, whereas it's coming from your own citizens. I mean, to me, diaspora is already part of, it's like another country in itself. We have our own representation, and if we don't feel right, we'll help out. So there's a lot happening. But one thing I'll say is, you have to go for the Constitution, fight for your rights, always go and vote. This goes to everyone, whether you're in the diaspora, whether you are at home. You have to exercise your right. It's a free right, and people have died to sacrifice for you to be able to go out and vote. So please do that. And with that, I think, Paula, I can say right now we're doing good. It's still ongoing because, African leaders.
Amen to that. I mean, I don't think it's only Africa. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Sambaza, can you hear me? Oh my God, I don't know what happened. I was just grateful that we did not lose this footage because I'd be so mad. But he disturbed the Kenyan gods because after you finish talking about politics in Kenya, but I think,
Say,
but
wrap up.
right now politics in the entire world is just, I mean, the entire world right now is just God bless us. Like, I don't know. But as we come to an end, for those who don't know, this is, oh my God, what do we call this? Pod talks? No,
Pod,
pod chat.
pod chat. Pod chat.
This is our July pod chat. We normally try to have it at the last Saturday of the month, but I will be away this last Saturday of the month doing a girls trip, and sometimes shit happens, and Sambaza will be away doing family things, I believe. So we decided to push it forward. Sometimes we push it forward, push it backwards. And I know today we didn't announce it because there was an off chance that Sambaza wouldn't have been able to make it, so I didn't want to promote it in case he didn't, because he had a swimming meetup, and we didn't know if it would finish on time or not. Because if you're a parent, you know sometimes this shit go on
Oh yeah,
forever and ever.
right.
So we will be back in August, where we'll be celebrating Sambaza's podcast anniversary and whatever topic Sambaza decides to choose around then, because that will be Sambaza's month to choose the topic. Our topic this month was conferences and communities, and only the reason I chose this, it was my topic to choose, was because I just came back from Empowered Podcasting Conference in North Carolina, Charlotte, and the amazing things they did. The conference was incredible, the connections, the personal moments, and then me celebrating my birthday, Max celebrating his anniversary, and all the shit they did to make me be there was something that we needed to dive into. Why we go to communities, why we attend communities, why we go to certain conferences and not others. And I'm planning to go to more conferences. I plan to attend Podcast Movement in DC next month. Fingers crossed. I have an interview with them on Monday to see if I can get a free ticket. And then there's also Justin's Growth Now Summit Live, which is happening in September. And then there's also Afros and Audios, which is happening in October. And then Podfest next year in January. By the way, Podfest will also be doing pod tours. They normally do that towards Podfest. So they will start after summer, because summer people are busy with their families and kids and just relaxing, enjoying. So after summer, pod tours will start. If you want pod tours to come to your city, they're looking for people to collaborate with. They want to go to as many cities as they can. Inbox me for the email of the person you can email to make sure they come to your city, and you can assist in helping that happen. So if you want them to be in your city, DM me and I'll make sure that happens. I also want to say a big shout out to Jen, who just arrived. That's one half of the Walk by Jen Sambaza collaboration that happens every Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Make sure you all join them. They always have amazing conversations, and they've had me as a guest. But before we leave Sambaza, what is one advice you would?
Sure is. Oh, this is he always supports my podcast. He always comes and shows up for me all the time, and yeah, we're going to connect. He's trying to see how he can connect with the other people, the people you mentioned.
I love that. DM me and we can make it happen. And if you're ever not Podfest literally just gave out they're going to Colombia before end of this year. They're literally trying to expand. We are planning on going to Africa next year, the year after. But this year they've been to Asia, they're going to Colombia. So we are looking for more places to go. So hit me up, let me connect you and make the shit happen. Because most of you don't know this, but I'm all about connecting people and collaborating. And I see Raw Assassin here. He invited me to his podcast last Saturday. Actually, I got so drunk because who does a podcast at 10 p.m.? And we were drinking and we were playing a drinking game, and I gave the wrong word because my word was shit. So every time you say your word, you have to drink. Do you know the amount of times I said shit? I was constantly drinking, like literally. So shout out to Raw, who I got to meet him for the first time at Podfest this year as well. Power of community and connections. So before we leave, and I saw he said building communities. I love it, and I love you, bro. Oh, there's a bromance going on over here. I love romances. I love when men show emotions and tell people they love each other. And I just posted a clip because I was on DC's podcast, What the Shit. And at one point, we were talking about therapy and group and everything. And Boom was like, Paula, here's an example. And it was like, I love you. DC called, I love you. And they just kept quiet. And they're like, huh? I said I love you. And they're like, ah, fuck this shit. So there's something about men telling each other I love you, so I like you. I like you, Monshu, for showing your emotions and sharing I love you. And I'm all about building communities. So please DM me and we'll make it happen. And info, it was fun. Laura says it was fun. Yes, it was fun, and I can't wait to share all that with you. We had a blast, and I can't wait to go
We
back.
did.
But we're gonna end this because it's already been an hour and 15 minutes. So I love how people show up last minute and they keep us here. This is not the first time. They always do this. Like last minute, oh my God.
All right.
Side piece. I have done 2 episodes with side piece and none of them have come to light. And then it disappeared on me. I might have been that bad of a guest, but we'll send you a note soon. Please do. So Sambaza, as we go off, I'm going to stop reading the comments for the sun. Let the people know what's your take, like your final take on conferences and communities. Why should people pay attention?
It's for your growth. It's for your belonging, and it's also for your eye opener situations, because it's gonna open your eyes to a lot of things that probably you will say, I will not do this, I will do this, I will not do this, I will do this. So that's my take from what I've gathered from today.
I love that and I agree with that. And just to add on, communities and conferences can also be a boost to your growth, because sometimes you're always thinking about how we are growing or how can we grow, but we hardly ever recognize how much we have grown. So attending conferences or being in communities can be that stamp of your growth. Like, oh my God, I've already been doing this shit. Oh my God, I'm way farther than I thought I was. Oh my God, I'm doing better than I thought I was. So it is a boost to that. And it's also support. I'm gonna stick to it. Like, the biggest support we get, because we are constantly crying we don't have support. And the reason you don't have support is because you're hanging out with people who won't support you. Stop doing that. Like, I know y'all like Drake and no new friends shit, but my nigga, no new friends might not get you the support you need. Because at the end of the day, the people you meet in the industries that you want to protect are going to be your biggest support compared to any family or any old friend that you have ever known.
100%.
So be open to meeting new people and putting yourself out there. Bet on your fucking self. And when you join communities, be willing to pour out before it gets poured back to you, because people are always looking to see what can you deliver, and what you can deliver is not always money. It's not always knowledge. Sometimes it's just support. If you're still new and you feel like you don't have value, trust me, you do. And your value can be just sharing people's shit, because that's one of the shit people want and lack. People don't share people's shit. So once you said, I got known in communities because I just share people's shit, and I share shit that I acknowledge, I agree with. Don't just share because you want to share. Make sure it also aligns with you and your brand and what you believe in, because you gotta stand on business at the end of the day. But once I started sharing, people saw, oh my God, she's so supportive. I'm gonna include her in this. I'm gonna bring her in this, and it builds up, and you get to build up. So go in communities with the knowledge of not what you can get, but what you can offer. And then all the shit will start falling into places.
Amen.
By the way, I want to say Mr. Al Patel was in here. I want to give a shout out to him because we were talking earlier about the collective, please. The C collective C. What's it called again?
The C4 collective.
The C4 collective. So he's part of that.
Yeah, he's part of the C4 collective. Jen is part of the C4 collective. Sean is part of the C4 collective. Yam is part of the C4
And
collective.
actually, I'm part of the marketing team for Afros and Arjas, and Mr. El Patel is running the shit, which I actually have a meeting with him tomorrow night, so I'm excited.
Mr. Al Pete.
Why do I keep saying Al Patel? It just sounds so good. Al Patel, Mr. Al Pitt. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Too much champagne. I've been drinking champagne. I'm sorry.
You're gonna have to tell a story about
I,
that. And any
I'll have to go on Monday. I'll show up on Clubhouse and
right.
be like, please forgive me.
So
Mr. Al Pitt.
that, yes. So with that, Paula, I'm gonna have to.
Until next time, find us in August. Again, we'll be celebrating Sambaza and he'll be leading us to this topic. Peace out.
Have a good one. Peace.